people before us knew about them, lived with them, it was just part of the world. Okay, we're not gonna be building buildings anymore. We're gonna fucking have alien vibrations help us build skyscrapers.
It could be the technology that comes out of this that they're trying to prepare us for, because like you can't go from like cars and oil and the stuff that we use now to free energy. I guess you can, but like I guess like they know a lot of us are just like not really prepared, right? Like mentally. So like I mean, I think one of the only reasons, and not to say that you don't talk about this, right? But I think one of the only reasons you even speak about any of this stuff is because me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I take credit for that, but if it wasn't for me like shoving this down your throat, pause like 24/7, you probably wouldn't even care to talk about it. Which is that's your right though, right? And I get mad a lot, and I know I come off really cringy. I do. I come off really cringy, but I get mad when like this isn't just like a, oh hey, is the sky blue, right? Because whether the sky's blue or not doesn't harm us, right? I'm gonna assume that it doesn't, right? But it does. Like if the water, like if I go outside, I'm like, hey Justin, is the grass red or is the grass white? That doesn't affect us globally, right? But this topic affects us globally. We talked about this a couple weeks ago too. And I'm just gonna keep this. I'm just gonna keep this, by the way. But yeah, this is episode 123, guys. The DrewCast. We're gonna break down the UAP hearing that just happened, which I liked it. I loved it. I'll get into the nitty gritty stuff, then my gripes with it. But before we start, what we were just speaking about, right? Globally, disclosure isn't to me, right? Isn't just about aliens and UFOs and life on other planets. Disclosure is bigger than that, bro. Right? When you find out what, because in this hearing, they're talking about the Pentagon failing their audits every year. Billions of dollars go missing of our tax-paying money. That's part of disclosure, in my opinion. The lying that's been happening, the cover-ups, the murder. We'll get to that too, because a congressman asked David Grusch, have people been murdered for this? And he basically said yes. So people have been murdered for this. Remember, we've talked about that before. Like, hey, I feel bad for the people who have been murdered. Their lives have been ruined. Like their careers, their reputation have all been ruined, bro, over this, right? So disclosure isn't just about, is there a little gray man in a metal flying ship. It's a whole lot of shit, bro.
The secrecy behind it.
Yeah, it's the secrecy, the lying, the stealing. Like, bro, we work our asses off 9 to 5. Majority of people will do that and die, right? That's just the way life is. That's what they say, anyways. Because if you say anything about a life that doesn't involve breaking your back every day, people legitly get mad about that. You see people like legitly get angry about that thought. You're not gonna work 9 to 5 the rest of your life, bro? Yeah, bro. You know what I mean? You're lazy, bro. Like you see people get like legitly mad. It's like, hey, I don't want to do this forever. Can we have fun? Let's have some fun, like I want to have fucking fun. These people who steal our money get to have fucking fun. What about us, dude? Right? But a lot of this process is going to be hard for a lot of people. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. This is going to be extremely hard for people to grasp, right? This isn't easy. I'm actually kind of jealous of your kids, bro, because they get to grow up in a world where this is a reality. When we were growing up, people are probably still going to get murdered for this, and like there's still going to be lying and cover-ups, right? But like when we were growing up, you were like, if you even talked about this type of stuff, you were like, you're crazy. Oh, you're the alien dude, huh? You're the Men in Black, right? Everybody kind of, and it's a stigma, right? They created this stigma around this so that they can steal our money on the side and take away things that our planet needs. That's why I'm mad.
Which, by the way, you sent me that meme about it. Well, it wasn't a meme, and it was the two infamous Men in Black, and then that person was like saying that, oh, they were alien, and they look like humans in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what am I thinking of?
The premise of the movie.
Yeah. Like Michael Jackson is sitting there in Antarctica with penguins, and he's like, I can be Agent M.
Yeah.
And they were just like, wait till you see his other. Like,
he's like, oh yeah,
and
he
was an alien.
He's like, this is an intergalactic cargo.
Like that's them as like they're agents, but some of them are actually aliens disguised as humans to like be operatives.
Yeah,
that's the plot of the movie.
I mean, I've talked about
if that is real. That's crazy.
That they just kind of threw it in our face. Well, that's what a lot of this is pre-programming. How do you get a whole group of people ready? This is like, bro, we're talking about playing chess against like the chess masters, right? If you believe in what you just said, like these people have been programming in TVs and movies for like this is a plan that like, hey, we're gonna take the next 80 years, we're gonna put in movies, TV, we're just gonna subtly throw it out there. So when we finally do, no one's gonna care when we finally reveal it. Like what's happening now, no one's gonna care.
Which would also make sense because me and you covered the Las Vegas. Well, you did the Las Vegas thing like a couple of weeks ago, a month ago. And when we saw what looks like an alien turn its head, we had friends that were like, "Oh, no way, that's fake. It looks exactly like, something
Roger
from a
from
movie
American Dad.
or Roger
Yeah.
from American Dad." But like maybe that's the point.
Yeah.
Maybe they were always based off of shit that we've seen in real life.
And they're just subtly telling you,
Like,
right?
hey, you're not going to be surprised when you see it because you've always seen it in movie and TV shows
Mhm.
because that's just what they look like. And
And we just can't, and we just put it out there. Yeah, now
yeah,
that makes absolute sense, man. I mean, it's gonna be rough, guys. We can get through it together, obviously. I mean, you're gonna have a hard time explaining this to a lot of people, especially our older, the older crowd. I mean, imagine being like in your 60s and 70s, I know, and you find out that you've just been lied to your entire life. You've had to break your back for a country that lies to you, steals from you, covers shit up, doesn't let. And if we are in, and if we are in possession of like free energy and like stuff that doesn't require us killing our planet and like harming the climate, because climate has always changed throughout history, but like we're like obviously we're exacerbating it. So like when you find that out, that must suck. To just sit there and be like, this was all a fucking lie? I would be bitter too if I was someone who's old, man. I'd be hella bitter. I'd be like, what? What was this all for, dude? Like, like so this is a really hard pill to swallow. Like we're in the beginning stages of like probably one of the biggest movements in modern human history, right? We talked about this off camera, Dustin, but I believe that humans in the past knew about aliens and they knew about space and right I think we knew about it in the past, but whatever cataclysm wiped us out and we came from that last cataclysm event, I just think we forgot, man. We forgot. We ended up getting lied to. It is what it is. But the hearing happened today, guys. And I got up really early to watch. I was up at 8 in the morning, and like if you're part of my family, I don't get up that early, but you know what I mean. So I was clearly, I was prepared. I started watching it, and I was really hoping that it wasn't going to be like a nothing burger. Like they were just a bunch of people asking stupid questions and like not asking the, we'll slip it in there, but asking stupid questions and not really getting to the point. I was really impressed with today's hearing, man. It wasn't the best, right? Like there was, and I told you guys I would get to the parts I didn't like because David Grusch, for some of the questions, he ends up saying like, "Hey, I can't answer that publicly, but I will answer it, in private with you guys, like Congress." He ends up saying like, "I'll answer it in a private skiff." No problem. I'll give you guys all the names of the companies who have these craft and bodies. I'll give you all that stuff, but it can't be public. He's scared for his life, his family's safety, which I don't blame him, bro. When you're doing something this big, you're gonna be one of the first people that actually puts your life on the line to like help our planet, right? Because we said this in the beginning of the episode. This isn't just about little gray men. This is about like them stealing from you, which other revolutions and like wars have been started for less, bro. And we're talking about billions of dollars just missing. That's not cool. That's not acceptable. You know what I mean? We should be angry, dude. That's one of the biggest bombshells, in my opinion, that came from this hearing. You, as an American citizen, should be fucking angry. If you work your ass off every day, or you take care of your family, or you're sitting there doing something you don't like doing every day, bro, you should be angry as fuck that they're taking that from you. Right? And this isn't me just trying to be like I don't even know what to call it anymore, bro. But you know what I mean? Like the tinfoil hat guy. I'm not Alex Jones, bro. Like, and I love Alex Jones, by the way. But this isn't on some tinfoil hat shit. Like they've been stealing from us. So that's one thing that I that coming, that came from this hearing that, hey, we got to address that. What the fuck are you guys doing? And why? You know what I mean? Like if they're using it for blacks, you know, like secret black projects where they're reverse engineering the shit, can you at least tell us? I think that's the point of disclosure right now, right? We got to tell these guys what we're using with their money because this isn't acceptable, right? And if you guys just say like, hey, we're using a lot of their tax money to do this because we're trying to like create free energy or we're trying to learn how to harness like, you know, crafts that can drop 80,000 feet a second, I don't think a lot of us would care because you already send hell of our money to Ukraine and no one says anything, right? There's a lot of people who don't care. They're like, oh, yeah, send money to Ukraine. Hey, guess what? I don't. Fuck Ukraine, bro, in my opinion. If there's people in America that are starving and homeless and you're sending money to them, and we're talking billions, by the way, not just like a, hey, we're going to help you guys one time. We're talking billions. And you're not helping us. I'm sorry, bro. I'm on that side that says fuck them then, bro. I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm a human at the end of the day, and I don't want them to go through like war and like, you know, get killed. But if you're not helping us, bro, and you're using our money, like there's a problem there. There's a huge problem there. So that was one of my biggest takeaways from the hearing. Another one, so Ryan Graves was somebody who spoke at the hearing today. You know, he testified in front of Congress, which bravo to you too, dude, because obviously that must be like really difficult to do when like your safety's on the line, your life's on the line, people are threatening you. One of the things though, and I found this very interesting because I never heard of this until today, and I'm actually gonna pull it up because it kind of scared me, dude, when he talked about it. But so he describes a football field sized red square coming from the ocean and hovering over an Air Force base for 45 seconds before it shoots off and disappears. Guys, 100 yards. You guys have played in football. You've seen a football field. At least you've seen it, right? I'm assuming you guys have seen it. That's huge. A red football field sized square comes out of the water, hovers over their base, and shoots off. You got to explain that, bro. You know what I mean? He said that under oath today. Right? This isn't like him going on a YouTube channel and like, you know, I saw a red. No, bro. Like he testified that under oath. Not to say that you can't lie under oath, but we also talked about this off camera. Me and my brother did, where like not everything's a psyop, bro. Not everything's a lie. Not everything's a grift. At some point, we have to start realizing, like, hey, I think the least you can do, right, is if you're stealing billions of dollars from us, the least you can fucking do is investigate it, right? The least you can do is, hey, we'll look into this. Okay, that's the least you can do, in my opinion. If you're, if you're like sitting there, like and it reminds me of the scene from the Flintstones. Remember when he's like, "I am embezzling." Like it's just like that's literally what this whole thing is, bro. Is just people embezzling from us. So and and so speaking of under oath, David Grusch also under oath said that aliens existed under oath. And that the government is in possession of craft and bodies. He under oath he said that.
Well, kinda. When she was asking the video that I saw when she was asking him about that, like, oh, do you have the pilots of these crafts? He was like, the team that investigated it found biological data, which I don't know what that means, and I don't even know if I said that right. And then she was like, is it non-human biological? And then he
used a certain word for it, but yeah, he wouldn't say alien straight up.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm trying to keep an open mind to what this could be because it could potentially not be extraterrestrial. So,
well, I mean, you would know if it was human or not. Yeah. I think anything that's not really human that we don't have documented, history of is quote unquote alien.
Well, what if it was a group of people who were on this earth before the last cataclysm and then whatever they did to survive it were the new version of them?
I know. Would they still
be somewhat human, or what would you consider them?
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
But yeah.
I think what I'm saying is like alien doesn't necessarily have to be little gray man. Alien is just kind of like unfamiliar, foreign type stuff.
Well, he basically said all the stuff he said in that News Nation interview. When Ross was asking him about like, hey, so we're in possession of craft and bodies, and he's like, yeah, that's to my understanding, that's out of all the research he did and all the stuff he did for his job, that's what he came to. That's the conclusion he came to, right?
Okay, so this is like the generalization of what I was talking about. It says a foreigner especially one who is not. That's okay. Never mind. That's like the Trump alien.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, like me and you, alien.
yeah, it says like it's a citizen of the country where they're living and shit. Like that's not what I'm talking about. It says unfamiliar and disturbing or distasteful, belonging to a foreign country or nation, relating to or denoting beings supposedly from other worlds or extraterrestrial. So it's kind of just like a, you know, I liken it to the word like unfamiliar, like it's alien to us. So
Congress.
what you said, if they've been here all along and they're all, they're native to Earth or what Earth used to be, I mean, they're not human as we see humans. So, I mean, they could be quote unquote aliens. So, yeah.
Congress straight up asked him too if people have been murdered for this stuff. The secret the gatekeeping and the secrets. He also basically said yeah without saying yeah. He said, I've took my findings to the proper authorities on that one, and that's basically yeah without saying yeah. Obviously there's probably going to be more that he's able to say once this stuff starts to move faster. But the people have been murdered for that, man. Like, how do you tell people that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you tell us now that? What do we do with that now? We can't unalive them. I mean, we can't like unmurder them. So like that isn't that just sad? Like all the stealing and the murder that has happened to like gatekeep this secret. And it's almost like I feel super bad because it's like you gave your life for this moment. Your life dwindled down to something that's gonna be revealed in this moment. That's like, it's just like, to me, that's like, when we say the word patriot, bro, that's some patriotic shit to me, man. If it's over national security or something of this magnitude and you got killed for it, or you're risking your life for something like this, you're a patriot to me, bro. And I know people probably won't agree with that, or they'll be like, you're wrong. But I don't, it's just, this is what it is, bro. Like the hearing.
That's the thumbnail right there.
Yeah. The hearing was cool, man. I don't, like I said, the only thing I didn't really like is there's some of the questions he wouldn't really answer because he can't, right? And I get it. I'm not gonna press him over that. Him basically saying people have been murdered over this, the billions of dollars that are going missing from our taxpaying money, the cover-ups. I mean, like, members of Congress are being denied access when they have the access level for this stuff, right? And to me, I'm super glad because this is a bipartisan issue. Like, this isn't something that you can just, Democrats say this and Republicans say that, because the three main people who are pushing for this and kind of made this hearing possible, they're Republicans, right? So I'm glad that wasn't really brought up, because one of the congressmen who ended up speaking, or somebody that was at this hearing, Matt Gaetz, right? He ends up talking about a picture he saw of a UFO, and he was mentioning how this UFO was, he talked to the pilots that had this photo, and like this UFO was able to turn off, mess with their radar and just do that kind of stuff. And I found that story interesting because he just straight out came out and said it. But I didn't know that he had like a history. Like, you're the one that told me he had a history of like, it was like being inappropriate with minors, right? And that kind of sucks too, because that muddies the waters. Because if he really did see like a really legit picture and he's able to like get us that picture, now all everybody's going to talk about is that he, and rightfully so though, but yeah, rightfully so.
Like, I tell you this all the time, like, I hate that shit. Like, if you're in a movement or if you're trying to start a movement, you can't have certain people regardless if they're like, in, like him, because there's like child sex trafficking or some shit.
Yeah, like the guy for Sound of Freedom, Jim Caviezel. He played in the Passion of the Christ. He was actually Jesus in the Passion of the Christ, Jim. And I guess he's a huge QAnon person.
Him, fucking Russell Brand.
Oh, you don't like Russell?
I'm not saying I don't like it, but like,
but does he have allegations against him too?
No, it's not even about them doing bad shit. Because to me, I don't really give a fuck about that. It's what they're immediately linked to in your brain when you hear their name. You hear Russell Brand, and you're like, oh, the fucking funny movie guy from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Why is he talking about aliens? You know,
Yeah.
that senator, oh, the fucking sex trafficking guy is trying to tell me the aliens are real. You know, Tom DeLonge, like, why is the guy from Blink
That
182
was
trying to tell
that
me
was
about
my most
UFOs?
recent, like, where I was like, wait a minute. So Tom DeLonge is one of the ones that I recently had that same like attitude towards, because like when he first came on the scene, I first came across Tom when he was on Rogan, and he was saying like I'm in the know and all these, and I'm like, the emails with John Podesta got leaked, and Tom DeLonge was in those emails with John Podesta talking about UFOs. Tom's talking about like, oh, all these like high level people are reaching out to me because I kind of figured out on my own what this phenomenon is, and like they kind of reached out to me to ask me how I know. And I always thought to myself the same thing. I was like, wait, how does Tom, like, it was like the Tom from Blink 182, but then like
Yeah.
he is credible. I mean, he is credible, bro. Like he's with like Lou Elizondo, Christopher Mellon. Like he's with these people who have literally worked in high level positions in our government. They trust him enough to be on their team, and they work with him. So but you're right though. Like most people probably see Tom and say, wait, the guy from Blink 182. Like, and most people that I've shown his interviews to, they'll say that. Like, is this the guy from Blink 182? Why is he talking to Steve-O about quantum?
Yeah, it's just
Like,
like something like that, man. Like, you got to kind of
because
get a
Steve
better
was like,
mascot for
I
your.
just like, oh, Tom, I just don't get it, like, Steve was like, I just, so you're saying that they're time traveling, and it's like, if you were to see that, that's jarring, right? To see Steve-O talking to Tom about that. But Tom, from what I've been able to watch, he's, and he got made fun of hella for that Joe Rogan interview, bro. They made fun of him when he first did that interview. Rogan fans clowned him because it was just far out there, right? He was just saying, it's like, wait, this is like really far out there. But then, like, as time goes on, a lot of the stuff Tom was talking about is coming true right now.
Yeah, like, can you imagine if like fucking Kevin Hart was like like literally abducted by an alien, taken, sorry, like to another planet,
Uh huh.
and then came back and was like trying to tell everyone what happened. Like, hey, why the fuck is this, short, funny guy? No one's gonna believe him, dude.
Yeah, especially if he tries to make it funny at all. It's like, we know what this is,
Like,
bro.
bam, they took a look at my ass, and bam, like,
Yeah, bam, and then I
whatever
told
he
him,
did.
boom, yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, don't put it in my
Or Eddie
butt.
Murphy,
Like, like,
and I told the aliens, and I said straight up, you ain't gonna put no poke in my ass,
yeah, like, bro, you can't do that. Like,
Come on, Trent.
tell the story to someone else and like let them do it, because no one's gonna believe you, bro.
That's the problem with this community, though. There's a lot of people that like it's the messenger, right? Ward's been telling me about this all week because of Sound of Freedom. How Jim Caviezel is like a huge QAnon person and believes in like draconian blood sucking Democrats, and which I didn't know that, by the way, when I talked about Sound of Freedom. Which
I
it
didn't
doesn't
know that
matter
either.
to me. The message is still about like child trafficking and like taking care of that, right? But you're right. Like when people find out who's behind it, it's like, wait, the guy who believes in QAnon blood sucking pedophile reptilian, like, and then Warren's like, hey, it turns people off from the message because the messenger is this guy, right? So in the UFO field, I don't necessarily. Well, Jeremy Corbell used to be one of those people. When I first started watching Jeremy, when he was on Rogan, he was just annoying. He was just cutting off Joe all the time. Just always interjecting with, well, in my documentary, in my movie, it was always about his, But as time went on, I fuck with Jeremy, bro. I love Jeremy, dude.
Also, to end on that topic, like, because you were mentioning earlier that like government officials are denied information, they're denied access to this stuff, but then like Tom DeLonge knows it. That is like that kind of stuff just doesn't make any sense either, and it kind of just like muddies the whole thing.
Yeah,
So
because if
someone who's actually in the government, who has badges and credentials and access and all this kind of stuff, and that's their literal job to work in our government, they can't see shit. But somehow the fucking dude from Blink 182 has pictures of UFOs on his fucking phone.
yeah, well, he was talking about how he just kind of figured out what this was on his own. He said, I just read a bunch of books, history books, and kind of just put two and two together. And they were like, wait, how did you, like, who told you this? He's like, no one told me this. I just found this out on my own. That's what he said. But, it is true, right? Like, you could even take it to another level with like Stephen Greer and them, right? Like, well, how does Stephen Greer know all this stuff? But then the fucking president of the United States that he says he briefed on this didn't know about it. The head of the CIA that Stephen Greer said he briefed doesn't know about it, but you know about it. So either it does muddy the water, because you would expect like a president to know at least, right, something. But then when he doesn't, but then Tom DeLonge knows about it, it's like, which I'm not. That's not even me like taking a shot at Tom or Steven, but it does kind of muddy the waters when you have certain people who, well, why do you know, but the president of the United States doesn't know? So, but or like, again, you get a celebrity comes out, like Demi Lovato was one of those people, bro. You know what I mean? Like when she was in her like they them stage, or her they them phase, and like she had her hair like hella short, like the girl who killed Selena. But like, you know what I mean? Like Yolanda, I think her name was Yolanda. But like Demi Lovato's talking about like I was contacting aliens in the desert, and like doing like, and it's like, bro,
Yeah, it's just
what
not
is
it,
Demi
man.
Lovato doing? Because she was like, doing videos with Stephen Greer, like podcast episodes, and I was like, Steven, bro, like I love you, dog, but what is Demi Lovato doing here, dog? You know
He
what
was
I
probably
mean?
just trying to get some. He was probably just trying to get some they them pussy, bro. I don't blame him.
But but at the same time, yeah, you're right, because it kind of turned me off from watching that video. I don't want to hear Demi Lovato talk about this shit, bro.
Yeah, like you said, imagine fucking Eddie Murphy or Kevin Hart like telling you a alien story about them like getting probed.
But if Eddie
I'm
Murphy
just
does
not
tell us that
gonna.
story, he better tell us in his donkey like Norbit voice. I told you, then the aliens come and everybody's going to trip, like that. Everybody, yeah. If you don't tell us that in that voice, not listening. It's the messenger, not the message. Which a lot of you probably don't. A lot of you probably think that about me. I'm not gonna listen to fucking Andrew talk about UFOs again. But what the fuck is this guy think he is, bro? I'm just a guy with the camera, literally. And this is, I know that behind the veil of like YouTube and like the veil of audio, you might not realize this, but I'm just the guy with the camera and a mic, bro. And I love for the shit. That's all I am, bro. I don't know anything. I'm not in the know. I don't.
But you're not the messenger. You're just relaying
The message.
messages
Yeah.
from people who claim they're the messenger.
Yeah.
Like you're not coming out with like groundbreaking fucking information like I know things the government don't know, because then that would put you in that same category. Like, hey, what is this guy talking about?
How does he in the know?
How
When
does Andrew have this, but Joe Biden doesn't have this? Like, you're not that like category of weirdo.
Well, I'm
You're
not
just
surprised
you're just
Bill Clinton didn't know. He was too busy on Epstein Island. I wouldn't have told him anyways. They're like, hey, let him do his little thing, whatever he's doing with the Jeffrey over there on that island. Yeah, can you imagine if I was like, I know secrets that the. But I mean, hey, I did get some backlash for the Anthony episode we did, for the Say What's Real episode with Anthony. And for people who don't know, he's an ex-military pilot. His name is Anthony Crabtree. I think he's a fascinating dude. And if whether or not you believe his story or not, cool. But he was saying stuff in our interview years ago that is being talked about publicly now, right? When he did that interview with us, I never heard of any UFO story talking about Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and bodies being kept there. And I've been sending you hella links now, huh? That's not like, hey, wasn't Anthony like talking about this years ago, and like how there's bodies at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base and they showed him, and even the exact height that these links were talking about, right? They were like, just like, they weren't small, but they were just kind of like between like 4'5" and 5'2". They didn't really look too much different from us, but you could tell they weren't from here, right? And Anthony was talking about seeing craft and all that stuff, and like, the reason I got backlash for that episode was because, well, obviously, like he sounds like, he, to some people, he sounded like an older kooky type of dude. But in the beginning of the podcast, he talks about remembering coming home from the doctor, and that's when I should have fucking ended the podcast right there. I should have reshot that part. I should have said, stop. You remember what? You remember coming home from the doctor when you were a baby? Okay, we're redoing this. Do not fucking say that. Do not fucking mention that, bro. I should have done my due diligence, but I was so young in the podcasting game, and I was just so excited to get this interview that I just let it slide. I mean, I've had people tell me straight up, I didn't watch the interview because within the first minute, he mentions remembering being born at the hospital and coming home. Once he said that, I didn't watch. I was like, oh, really? Like, yeah, once he said that, I just knew everything else was going to be bullshit. And I was like, damn, bro. I should have, like, when he said that, I should have said, oh, hey, no.
if they are really tiny, I wonder what they think about humans, and like I wonder if like they feel threatened by that, or if they even like what they're
What their thought process is.
on high. Imagine like showing an alien like SHAQ. Like, what do you think an alien would think?
Well, imagine it's like kind of like us seeing a giraffe. We're just like, oh, what, bro? It's a giraffe. Okay. Well, I'm not saying
Yeah, I
they
guess
view
that's
us like
right.
animals, but like maybe they do. Maybe they're just like, hey, look at that human who's tall. Look at that dark skinned tall human. You know, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they don't give a shit at all.
Yeah,
I wouldn't give a fuck. But
that'd be really
if
that'd
I
be
was an
really
alien, I
interesting.
saw Shaq, I'd make Shaq fold, bro. One little and again, Shaq turns into a pile of clothes. You imagine Shaq falling? He's just a pile of clothes or rubble. Aliens like fuck around and find out, bro. Yeah, bro. Honestly, if you could do what they're saying you could do, not wow, wow, and Shaq's folding, turning into dust, dog. But yeah, no, this I want to make sure I want to make something clear with you guys. I don't want to make disclosure like a scary topic 24/7. There's some fun stuff, right? What we just talking about, like make them fold, and you know, like they're probably looking at us how we treat fish. Like we treat fish and animals like shit, bro. And not all humans are bad, right? But there's humans that go in the water and just take thousands of them, eat them, mutilate them, do nasty stuff with them, like bestiality type stuff, and that doesn't represent all of humanity, right? So we can't really be mad if aliens are doing that, like, you know, taking some of us and abducting us and like experimenting on us, because that's what we do to nature, and we do that to animals, and we just okay, we're okay with it, right? So you guys shouldn't be mad if aliens are doing it. Like, hey, come get me, you know, like that. It's like, don't be mad, bro. Like, I mean, I guess you could be mad because, like, I guess we spent our whole entire existence thinking we're the top dog here, and come to find out we're not the top dog. We're the North Sentinelese of the galaxy, bro. Kind of, but yeah, I really recommend. Well, obviously, you guys who are listening and watching, but I really recommend you guys, especially you, Justin, when you get time. I know we've had a busy week, but yeah, watch that hearing, bro. If you get a chance, like, you know, just kind of digest what's happening, and obviously this isn't the last hearing they're gonna do. There's most likely going to be more witnesses, more bombshells being dropped. It's just one of those things, guys. I guess I guess it could be annoying to have somebody show up every week and they say, you know, fight the power, right? But like I don't know, man. Like you wouldn't want someone going into your home and like stealing everything, right? You're not gonna want someone to go into your home and, you know, steal all your money, steal everything you own, and then like you're just gonna be cool with that. You know, I know you wouldn't be cool with it, right? So at a larger level, too many people have died for this, man. Too many people worked their asses off, and too many people have just been lied to, stolen from, murdered. People who breathe the same air we do, people who live on this same planet, and it's just like it's crazy to me, right? Like life's already as hard as life is already hard, right? So, you know, when you kind of mix in like all this other stuff, it gets fucking spooky, bro. It gets real scary. And um I can try my best from now on not to make it scary, but you know, sometimes it comes with the territory, right? When you've been lied to for so long, you know, a lot of stuff is not going to be easy to digest. A lot of stuff will be uncomfortable to talk to your family about. It'll be uncomfortable to talk to your friends about. It's not going to be something that, you know, imagine being lied to and in the dark for so long, and like you can just jump into and me and Dustin know a lot of these type of people, by the way. You cannot just talk about this stuff with everybody, right? Like no, and so there's a reason why they're probably doing slow disclosure with us, because there's like you can't just talk about this with everybody. You can't, right? So there's a reason they're probably doing it at a mass scale, like a larger scale, because you know, I know personally hella people, I can't just talk about this stuff with them. Like you can't just like, hey, so you know, they're stealing billions of dollars from us, and they're like, don't care, Barbie was fire, you know. So which Barbie was to me, but hey, you didn't see Barbie yet? Okay, it was fire. I don't think it's woke, by the way. I was thinking of doing a fantastic review about it, but I don't want to anymore. Everybody ruined it for me. But I would, again, I recommend you guys watch it, go digest it. I'm probably gonna watch it a couple more times because there's probably a lot of stuff that I missed, and it's important to realize that whether or not this is fake, whether or not this is real, something is happening. So you can't do the whole "I'm just gonna ignore it" thing, right? No, I don't think you can anymore, because if it's fake, not good, and if it's real, not good. So at least try to like keep yourself somewhat up to date, because bro, you don't, and we talked about self camera to send, but you do not want to be that guy who's driving home from work on some like Cloverfield 10 Cloverfield Lane shit or War of the Worlds type shit, and they just start, like, but what about my promotion? Like, hey, if you were doing your due diligence, you wouldn't have took that promotion. But I think someone just died, actually, so I think that's my cue to turn the podcast off. But I did. It sounded like someone died. I don't know. That's actually kind of like, I'm scared. So okay, yeah. But yeah, that is episode 123, guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for Spotify, Apple Podcast. That was crazy. Apple Podcast, and again, TikTok. It's the last couple weeks have been just like a blur here at the house. I'm in the middle of moving. Next week we're doing Say What's Real. Me and Warren already talked about it today. It'll be the final episode that I do in this house of Say What's Real. The podcast started in this room, actually, because you guys have been seeing me shoot in this other room with like the background and all my pops and stuff. But the podcast started here, and we're gonna end Say What's Real in the same room I started it. So it's kind of like a bittersweet moment. Like obviously, like the show will continue once I move, but this is literally the room it started it. So, it kind of hit me today when he's like, "Oh damn, bro, that's the last time you're gonna do Say What's Real in that room." I was like, "Damn, you didn't have to make me cry, Warren." But yeah, until next time, guys. Peace.